Yo guys, CFB here, welcome back to a brand new video. Hopefully you're all doing better than yesterday, especially if you're a Chelsea fan. I hope you are. It was an absolute shambles last night. But we've got a big video to cover today. I've been doing my research the last couple of days, heavily to see, what type of managers would suit Chelsea for the long term. And my favourites. These are my favourites, not like, the betting company's favourites or anything like that. These are my favourites. So, before we get into the video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. Also, first link in the description is my second channel, so go and give that a check out if you want to. And, let's get straight into this video. So, before we get into my favourites, for the Chelsea job, my top 5 favourites, I just want to pinpoint this out. So, Poch is a big name right now going around. Apparently, Chelsea are looking at Poch as well. I just want to quickly say, no. It would not go down well at all. In the long run, it wouldn't work. I don't think he's really that much of a good manager. I think he's very, very overrated from his time at Spurs, where he did actually look quite decent at Spurs. But, yeah, that's another reason as well. He's a former Spurs manager. He's a Spurs lover. Spurs love him. He loves Spurs. I don't want it. Nah, it's like when we appointed Rafa Benitez from Liverpool. It never stuck. It just didn't work. So, in my opinion, we should stay far away from Poch as far as possible, in my opinion. And if I even see that we've appointed Poch, I want protests. I want protests. Honestly. And also, this one's an honourable mention that didn't just make it into the top 5. Actually, last minute it was. I decided not to put it into my top 5, and that was Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick, what he did at Bayern was incredible. He made Bayern probably the best team in the world. He won. I think he won the Sextuple. I think it was, which is fucking difficult to do. No matter what team you got and who's in charge of it. He won the Champions League. I remember when he won the Champions League, they played us. And on aggregate, in 2 legs, they smashed us like 8-2 or something like that. They were smashing Barcelona like 8-2 as well. They were hammering teams. Absolutely hammering teams. But he just misses out. The reason why he just misses out is because I feel like that's the only job he's ever walked into. And fair play, he's done a great job of it. And he's also had the Germany job. So at club level, he's only had the Bundesliga job, and then he's had the Germany job. And at Germany, he's not really been great, has he? His World Cup thing was, I think, appalling. I think they were very, very lucky to get. I think it was a draw against Spain. I think Spain deserved to beat them, especially if they had an actual number 9. I think they would have beat Germany. It was a draw. So I'm just not too sure on Flick, really. But I could see him do something. I could probably see him do something now. So yeah, they're my one honourable mention and then one stay far away from pick. Do you know what I mean? So let's get into the first pick of today. So I've got to look down to see my notes sometimes. Just I've got pinpoints out. So I see it sometimes. So my number 5, coming at number 5 is Zinedine Zidane. Now he's the one that just came in last minute instead of Flick. Now, with Zidane, the guy's already got pedigree. As a player, as a manager, the guy's got pedigree already. He's won 3 Champions Leagues. It is first job for Real Madrid. He won 3 Champions Leagues on the bounce. I think it was 16, 17, 17, 18. No, it was 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, I think it was. A lot of people actually, I've got to be honest, a lot of people down credit Zidane for his achievements with Real Madrid, because they always say, they had prime Ronaldo, they had prime Modric, Cruz, Casemiro, prime Bale, all these amazing players and, loads of money. But let's not lie here. Let's not lie here. It could have flopped. There's been loads of managers who've had those exact same players even after Zidane left. But did they win 3 on the bounce? Did they keep it going? No. They didn't. And to me, you've got to look at Zidane for that. And you've got to give him his flowers for it, because it's a hard thing to do, to win 3 Champions Leagues on the bounce. Let's not take away the credit here. It's never been done before. Actually, I don't think it's never been done before. But in recent times, it hasn't been done for quite a while. And Zidane walked in and he straight away did it. When he made his return back to Real Madrid, he also won a La Liga. He won a La Liga, yeah, because Hazard was there, I remember. So, you know, the guy's got pedigree, but the downside to his job is he's only been at one club, and that's Real Madrid, you know, with the best players. That's the only, you know, downside. Is he good at developing young talents like we've got? When he was at Madrid, he pretty much had a team of already made players, you know what I mean? Not young players, like, not too old either, like already established good players. He never had to develop and make big players. Do you know what I mean? Like younger players. So that's my worry and concern about it, because we've got a talented young squad. Do you know what I mean? He'd have to work with that. And he's never ever been a manager outside of, you know, Madrid, Spain. I'm also not too sure if he speaks fully English yet. I think he speaks a bit. So that would also be a bit of a clash as well. The formation he uses a 4-2-3-1, but mostly he uses the 4-3-3. Often in possession, he likes to play with his full-backs overlapping quite well. And the DM usually slots a bit back, so it forms like a 3-back on when going forward. You know, when his full-backs usually push up on the counter-attack, usually the 3 in midfield are actually the deepest ones back, along with the 2 centre-backs. He plays attacking football brand, you know what I mean? It's something that... It's fairly balanced football. It's fairly balanced, you know. It's solid defensively, it's solid going forward, but mostly it's attacking football. It's possession. You know, but my downside to it is his midfield plays quite deep. So it's the fullbacks and, you know, the front line that are mainly creating the chances, you know what I mean? Whereas, you know, we've got quality in midfield. And going forward, it would be our midfield, you know, that would probably do best. But like I said, the one positive about Zidane and his football is his wing-backs. And under Tuchel, we saw Chilwell and Reece James, who are our wing-backs, utilised quite well and did really well under Tuchel. They were our main attacking outlet, you know what I mean? They got quite a lot of goals and assists. And I think that would kind of work under Zidane. But it's a 4 at the back in a way, so that's what kind of concerns me. Do you know what I mean? That's what kind of concerns me. Under Zidane, we'd need a DM as well. But the 5 in the midfield, I'm actually I kind of like, because it's an overload in the midfield. We've got a strong midfield. Well, we will do next season, especially with a DM. You know, if we get DM, we've got Enzo as well. I think Enzo would do really well under Zidane as well. So yeah, that would be my 5th pick, Zidane. Let me know, you know, would you guys have Zidane? Now, in my 4th spot, I've got Ruben Amorim. Again, he's a bit like somebody I'm going to get to later. He's a very, very young manager, Ruben Amorim. I think he's 38. He's broke onto the scene. I've got the same negatives, basically, as Zidane. Ruben Amorim's only ever managed one club, and that's Sporting. It's Sporting. But what he's done with Sporting, he's actually done really well with. He's a young, strong manager. A lot of people call him the next Jose. I don't personally see it, because it's different type of football, different styles. But he is going to be one of the best managers in the world in the coming years. He's got such a big pedigree. Right now, especially without a DM, his formation would suit our players to a T. You know, he plays with a 5-2-3 formation. 3-4-3 if you want to say, but it's a 5-2-3, I call it sometimes. It's a pressing team, so his team are really, really fit, to be fair. They need to press the hell out of teams, they do. But they play quite wide as well. But the whole team is spread out quite wide. You know, like we've all been saying, the fullback at the moment for Chelsea isn't working. Why? Because we don't have a DM. You know, to play a 4, you need a DM. Even if it's a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-2-4, you need a DM in a 4. Ruben Amorim's formation would work perfectly with these players with the 5. He plays the 5-2-3, which is exactly what we've been playing under Tuchel. Do you know what I mean? For many seasons. Well, not many seasons, but 2 seasons. And we won the Champions League with it. And I think we were quite successful with it, to be fair. His wing-backs as well. Ruben Amorim's wing-backs play quite well. His front 3, though, per game, averages the most presses per game. So it seems like his forward line always starts the press, which is another thing that Tuchel used to do. If you used to check back on his time at Chelsea, the most presses per game were from the forward line. Mount used to play in the forward line. You have the most presses per game. That's exactly why Tuchel liked Gallagher as well, because he puts a lot of presses on. Ruben Amorim would love Gallagher, you know what I mean, for the pressure. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of Gallagher. We've gone through this numerous amount of times. Ruben Amorim won the Taça da Liga, I think it's called. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's called the Taça da Liga. And the Premier Liga in 2021 ended the club's 19-year title drought. So you got to give props to him from that perspective. The club looked like they weren't winning much, especially on the title drought, and looks like Ruben Amorim came in and has put his stamp on the league. They're doing quite well right now. They knocked out, I think it was Arsenal in the Europa League this year, and obviously Arsenal are top of the Premier League as well. So that's another thing you've got to look at, and you've got to think maybe long term Ruben Amorim would be a solid manager, But my concern, like I said, with him is similar to Zidane. One club. He's only been in one club, and he's only been a manager since 2020. So he's only been at management for about 3 years now, 3 seasons. And I just think if you're going to walk into Chelsea Football Club, who are a massive club. It's always chaotic at Chelsea Football Club as well. The managerial seat is the hot seat. There's going to be elite names in the squad and stuff like that. Does Ruben Amorim know how to manage those elite names? That's what I'm saying. Does he know how to manage those players? We saw it with Graham Potter. Graham Potter did a great job at Brighton. Came into Chelsea. It seemed like the pressure and everything and the players, it just got too big over his head, and it just went downhill. And I don't want to go through that again. That's my worry about Ruben Amorim, which doesn't concern me about Zidane, because Zidane's managed elite names numerous amount of times, you know what I mean? So it doesn't concern me about Zidane. But it concerns me about Ruben Amorim the most, probably on this list. So yeah, that's my saying on Ruben Amorim. So in at number 3, I've got a big name that's been touted around right now for the job. He's in the top 2 favourites for the job. So it's 1 or 2 names who are big around the Chelsea job right now. It's the one and only Luis Enrique. Now, even though he's in at 3rd, I'd take Luis Enrique in a heartbeat. I think what he did with his Spain team was, really good. I think they were really unlucky, actually. If they had a proper number 9, Luis Enrique would have done a job with that Spain team. They played really good football. Football where I actually look at and go, look, I'm not a big fan of this possession attacking football at Chelsea, but I wouldn't mind his attacking football at Chelsea. You look at the names that are taking over the Premier League at the moment as well, in terms of their style of football. It's the Spanish way. It is the Spanish way. The triangles and stuff like that. Pep Guardiola. You got to say Mikel Arteta's doing a good job. You got to say, I don't like the guy, but you got to say he's doing a good job. Maybe add Luis Enrique into that mix. Maybe he'd do something well. Now, he's been at 3 clubs before. And he's only won trophies at 1 club. So, again, that could be classed as a concern. I can get it. I can understand it. He's won 9 trophies altogether with that team was with Barcelona. He won 9 trophies with Barcelona, 1 UCL, which was in 14-15, 2 La Ligas, one was in 14-15, one was in 15-16, 1 Super Cup, which was in 15-16, 3 Spanish Cups, which was in 14-15, 15-16, 16-17, 1 Club World Cup, which was in 15-16, and 1 Spanish Super Cup, which was in 16-17. So he's won a treble. He's won a treble, which again is another really, really hard thing to do. A double is even hard as well. Do you know what I mean? So you got to give the man credit. A lot of people like to kind of criticize his, his winnings and stuff like that at Barcelona because they say he had Messi, Neymar, Suarez. Look, don't get me wrong, that front three and that whole team in general was amazing, but you've got to get that team playing football to win a treble. To win a treble, you know what I mean? Winning 1 trophy, I can understand, if fans bragged about it and other fans said, no, he had MSN, but he won a treble with them. Do you know what I mean? 9 trophies in 3 seasons. Come on, you've got to give props. You have to give props. Again, he plays a 4-3-3 attacking football, possession-based as well. Very, very, very possession-based, actually. That's one of my downsides to Enrique. I'm not a fan of his constant possession. Like, this is really bad possession. His teams usually have 60% or over every single game. Do you know what I mean? Tactically, he's good. But the way he wants to play his football, he only has one style of way to play football. If you don't get it right, he ain't changing it up. It's a bit like Antonio Conte in that way. He ain't switching up his style of play. He'll switch up tactically, but his style of play, he's adamant it will work. He will put his style of play there for the players to do it, and he won't change it. Even if it's going really bad, he won't change it. He'll just wait till he gets sacked. He can play for 3-4-3 at times too. We've seen him do it with the Spain team, the 3-4-3, on a couple of occasions. So yeah, the 3-4-3 right now would suit us. If Enrique came in the summer, I could understand if he went to the 4-3-3 because we need a DM. So it'd be something good for it in the summer. Again, his teams, just like Amorim, like Zidane, sorry. He likes to play with his fullbacks pushing quite high up. Defensively, though, this is another concern. His fullbacks usually get quite caught in possession. When they, especially on a counter attack, the fullbacks are already still in the attacking half. Do you know what I mean? Not defending. So that's one of my concerns about the way he plays, because he likes his fullbacks, even in the 4, to push really, really high, which is fine going forward, but you just got to make it prolific. And we know this Chelsea team at the moment isn't particularly prolific, is it? So yeah, that would be my concern about Enrique. He's a big name. He's managed big names. in the Spanish squad in Barcelona. He's managed big names. Messi, Ronaldo. What am I on about? Messi, Suarez, Neymar. I think he's managed Xavi and Iniesta. Yeah, he managed Xavi and Iniesta. Ter Stegen. All these players. Sergio Busquets. He's managed the harder names you can possibly manage, and he's done quite well with them. Hence, what he did at Barcelona. So yeah, that would be my third choice, Luis Enrique. I know a lot of people aren't too adamant on him, but actually on a minute, quite a lot of the Chelsea fan base actually quite like Enrique. So yeah, he's quite a favourable guy at the moment. He has a personality which Potter lacked. He has a personality, so he would do kind of well actually. So yeah, that would be my third choice. So moving on to my second place. Honestly, when I tell you this, second and first can go either way. Honestly, they could go either way, but I've just a little bit edged first by a tiny bit, simply because, and I'll get to it when I get to first. But at number 2, I've got Jose Mourinho. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be looking at me right now going, Jose, really, for a third time? Yes. And let me just quickly go through his honours. It speaks for itself. He won a UCL with Porto. He won 3 Premier League titles with Chelsea, 2 back-to-back, 04-05, 05-06. 04-05, he conceded only 14 goals in a season, in a Premier League season. Probably one of the hardest achievements to do. Probably one of the best Premier League teams ever. You know, in my opinion, probably the best Premier League team ever. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Chelsea fan. But, you know, I generally think that is probably one of the best teams in Premier League history. Obviously, in the second stint, he also won a Premier League in 14-15, where Chelsea just stayed at the top from match day 1 to match day 38, which is another incredible achievement. He won an FA Cup and 3 Carling Cups as well. You know, at Real Madrid, he won a La Liga. You know, he's won a total of 25 trophies. He's won a total of 25 trophies. Considered probably one of the best managers of all time. You know what I'm trying to say? Jose Mourinho has managed the big names since the start of his managerial career. That's just a fact. And in my opinion, he comes into Chelsea, he walks it. He walks it. And I still think at the age of 60, because he's 60 now, I still think at the age of 60, he's still got 4 or 5 seasons at the top. You know, what he's doing with Roma right now is pretty good. Right now, Roma are currently 3rd in the Italian league in Serie A, which is a great achievement. It's a great achievement with the budget he's on, with this Roma team. You know, he's using the young youth, which the youth isn't, you know, amazing, is it, from Roma? You know, you've got to give Jose props. I personally thought he was finished. You know, but seeing what he's doing, you know, it's amazing. He won Roma as well last season, their first European trophy in decades, quite a long time. You know, he's doing wonders at Roma. And let's not lie here. If Chelsea came knocking, Jose, would you want a third stint? He'd snap it up in a heartbeat. You know, he'd say, look, thank you, Roma. I appreciate you, but I'm gonna have to go. And also, there's a Saudi club that's offered Mourinho 120 million per year to manage at this club. He turned that down just to walk back to Chelsea. You know, he came out of an interview when he first joined Roma saying, you know, his house is literally right around the corner from the Chelsea stadium. He loves Chelsea. You know, this guy loves Chelsea. He would walk into Chelsea. And even if we finished 12th or 11th this season, he'd come into Chelsea and set the tone. He'd come in and set the tone. And don't you also think Jose Mourinho, in the 2 times he's came to Chelsea, he hasn't had time. You know, the owners were there like, you're in, you've got to win it. You know what I mean? If you don't win, you're sacked. You know? If Jose Mourinho just got top 4 with Chelsea next season, he comes in and he gets us top 4 next season, and there's progress, he'll be kept on board without any fear of being sacked. You know? And I still think Jose Mourinho's got a Premier League in him with this Chelsea team. And I think he'd work wonders with this Chelsea team. You know, Mourinho, there's one thing about this guy as well. The 2 times he's been at Chelsea, who are the 2 most successful strikers at Chelsea the last couple of decades? Didier Drogba, Diego Costa. Who was the guy who got those 2? Jose Mourinho. He knows how to pick out a striker, Jose does. He knows a striker when he sees one. He also knows the DM when he sees one. Look what he did with Obi Mikel. Look what he did with Matic. You know? He knows a DM when he sees one. What are the 2 positions we need right now as well? A striker and a DM. Jose would galvanise his team. I'm telling you, Jose Mourinho would get a grip on this team. He knows what it's like to be Chelsea. He knows. He's got that aura. Jose Mourinho you're telling me Jose Mourinho walks into this dressing room and the players aren't straight up just listening to him? They are paying close attention to him. Very, very close attention to him, because this guy's a born winner. You know, some of these players growing up in the academy, like, you know, your Reece James, your Mason Mounts, have probably seen Jose Mourinho at the club before, you know, him winning at the club and stuff like that, you know. Jose Mourinho to us Chelsea fans is what Arsene Wenger is to Arsenal fans. You know, what Sir Alex Ferguson is to United fans. You know what I mean? That guy defines the club, knows what it's like to be at the club. You know, it's a no-brainer for me about Mourinho, you know. He favours the 4-2-3-1 formation, plays defensive football, you know, a flat full-back. If it came to it, I don't think I could say no to Jose Mourinho. I really just don't think we could. And what would be poetic as well? Jose Mourinho in his whole career as a manager has won 2 UCLs. Porto and Inter. Chelsea in their whole entire existence have won 2 UCLs. Jose Mourinho, the one trophy that he has never, ever, ever, ever won at Chelsea is the UCL. Imagine he came back and he won that UCL. Chelsea's 3rd ever UCL, his 3rd ever UCL, and his 1st ever at Chelsea to complete the set. It would be it would be tears. It would generally be tears. With John Terry as assistant, we need it. I need this. And I will be there. You know what I mean? I'll be there. But in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. And I think Jose Mourinho still walks into the team. Look what Ancelotti's doing at 62 with this Real Madrid team. He's already won a UCL, They're not far off La Liga champions, They've just still got to catch up with Barca. Mourinho's still got 4 or 5 seasons at the top. And he's still got a Premier League left in him, that's for certain. He'd galvanise his team, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Mourinho. Let me know what you think. And then moving on to first, literally by the skin of the teeth, he just comes in at first, is Julian Nagelsmann. Now I'm going to say why I just about put him first. It's because of his age. He's 35. He's a lot younger than Jose. He's about 25 years younger than Jose. You know what I'm saying? Which means, obviously, longer term, something we could build on with Nagelsmann. Do I have to really say much about Nagelsmann? He's the favourite at the moment for Chelsea. He's my favourite as well. I've wanted Julian Nagelsmann since 2020. I'm a big fan of Julian Nagelsmann. In his whole career as a manager, which he actually has quite a lot of experience, a lot more experience than Jose Enrique. A lot of people won't know about that, actually. He has a lot more experience at club level than than Luis Enrique. Keep calling Luis Enrique Jose Enrique. I don't know what's going on. Nagelsmann has won 3 trophies. He won a Bundesliga and he won 2 German Super Cups, all with Bayern, which obviously in the last 2 years he's been at Bayern. He's only just been sacked. I'm just going to list off some achievements he's got. So he got 3rd with Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim. Go and check the table of the Bundesliga right now and check where Hoffenheim are for the last couple seasons. He got Hoffenheim into 3rd place. He got Hoffenheim into a Champions League spot. That's, at a young age as well. Do you know what I mean? He joined Leipzig in 2019 and got them 3rd and 2nd place in 2 seasons. We got them top 4 in both seasons. In 2020, he also took Leipzig into the semi-finals of the UCL, which again is just absolutely unheard of. It's just unreal. Nagelsmann played with a 3-5-2, or he can also do the 4-2-3-1. At times, he's also played with a 4-3-3. So he's very, very... Nagelsmann's very... he's adaptable. Nagelsmann is, depending on the opponent. But, at Leipzig, what I liked about his 3-5-2 formation is he got Nkunku linking up with this striker and the 2 up top really, really well. It was really fluid and stuff like that. And obviously, we're going to have Nkunku next season as well. He'd get Nkunku firing in the Premier League. I just know it, Nkunku picking up the spaces and stuff like that. Poetic. It would be poetic. There's another thing about Nagelsmann which is similar to Jose Mourinho, is in he loves strikers and CDMs. There's actually an interview out there where he thinks goalkeepers, DMs, and strikers are the main positions on the pitch. So what are basically the 3 main positions we need? A goalkeeper, a DM, and a striker. We need those. We need those. Kepa and Mendy aren't good enough. We ain't got a DM. We haven't got a striker. Datra Fofana's too young, too raw. So we've got to let him develop. Aubameyang's trash. Havertz is trash, not technically a striker either. So, you know, Julian Nagelsmann also, if you don't know, he wanted Lavia at Bayern Munich. You know, if Julian Nagelsmann does move to Chelsea, we could potentially see him pushing for Lavia at Chelsea, and Chelsea want Lavia before as well. So, you know, there's another thing. And this is the most crazy stat I've seen from Nagelsmann, and I said it a couple of videos ago, from his job at Bayern Munich. So, Julian Nagelsmann got sacked. In total, this is in all competitions. He played 37 games in all competitions. Only got 3 losses with his Bayern Munich team, and their whole team scored 112 goals. 112 bloody goals. What do we lack doing? We lack scoring goals. At the time he got sacked at Bayern, it was only 3 points off Dortmund, who were top of the league, first place, and he got to the quarterfinals. Well, Bayern Munich right now are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He got them there with all wins. With all wins. This guy's elite. 35 years old. You usually see managers hit this, managers start becoming proper managers at the age of about 40, 44, 45, you know what I mean, around that. And they start to phase off at around 56, 57, 58, around that. This guy's already at this at the age of 35. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer in my opinion. I'm not even gonna go into any more detail about Nagelsmann, apart from this would be a brilliant appointment for Chelsea. Nagelsmann is good at making players better as well. He's good at adapting younger players. Also, Nagelsmann, if you haven't seen him as well, a lot of people like to call him the German Potter, which is, let me put it plain and simple, bollocks. It's bollocks. It's just haters that say that. Potter, in my opinion, on the odd occasion, he showed something on the sidelines. Nagelsmann's up and down the sidelines. Have you type in on YouTube Nagelsmann on the sidelines versus PSG Champions League? There's a 5-minute compilation of him up and down the touchline, screaming at players, screaming at the refs and everything. You know what I mean? Celebrating as well. This guy's got passion. He's got an aura. Do you know what I mean? He'd walk into that dressing room and he wouldn't be like Potter, like, unlucky boys, we'll go again next time. If we lost, he'd be hammering them all. Absolutely hammering them all. And that's one thing Chelsea players need, a hammering sometimes, you know what I mean? They've got too used to this, we'll go again next time, unlucky by us, you know what I mean? The boys gave everything. He wouldn't be saying that, he would be fuming. Do you know what I mean? It's not just PSG he was like that. He's like that majority of the time. Because this guy's a class manager. He's a class manager. And like I said already, it's a no-brainer for me to go to Nagelsmann. He's adaptable to his formations, depending on the opponent. He likes to switch the style of play, depending on the opponent as well. Tactically, obviously, switches on the dependent of the opponent. The formation, depending on the opponent. Everything. He's a very, very hard-working, and in my opinion, borderline world-class manager. He will be world-class soon. And he'd take this Chelsea team to new heights, I believe. Fully believe it. So, that is my first choice pick. But between him and Jose, honestly, it could go either way. Like, it's literally this much between the two. This much between the two. Very, like an inch between the two. It's crazy. I'm really stuck between the two. I'd take Julian Nagelsmann or Jose Mourinho. If we couldn't get those two, like I've already said, I would take Luis Enrique. Amorim and Zidane, though, I've got my doubts about. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. It's a very, very long video. I'm out of breath. But yeah, tomorrow there might be a news video. There's a couple news that's going around right now, but I'm going to put it in tomorrow's video because it's not huge. Well, it is pretty big news, but not huge breaking news. You know what I mean, to put in instead of this video. So yeah. That's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you've all enjoyed. Please like, subscribe. Also prepare yourselves for the Real Madrid game because I'm prepared. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? I'm prepared. Yeah, I've got my shitting pants on. So yeah. Yeah, like, subscribe, and let me know your top 5 favourites in the comments down below. I'd love to know, and discuss with you guys in the comments. So yeah, let me know if you disagree and agree, and yeah, take care. Peace.